Hey, Joy Creators, welcome back to Create a Magical Day. I'm your host, Joyful Genia. And if you're like me, the holiday season brings a mix of joy and a little bit of chaos. The holidays often bring a sense of overwhelm sometimes between gift giving, family dynamics, holiday planning, and the pressure to create the perfect season. It can be so easy to feel drained, stressed, and honestly, a little sad. And the fear of missing out on holiday experiences can heighten feelings of isolation and disappointment. In today's episode, we're diving into how you can shift your focus and create joy in the holidays, even when it feels like everything is spinning out of control. The three areas we'll focus on: prioritizing your peace, creating simple, joyful moments, and embracing imperfection and self compassion. Yes, and yes. If you're ready to add a little sprinkle of joy to your holiday season, grab your favorite cup of tea, your warmest sweater, and let's dive in. Today, we are sprinkling joy into your day. Welcome to the Create a Magical Day podcast. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Create a Magical Day. We are diving in today to talk about, well, my favorite season, the holiday season. Well, outside of my birthday, of course. Uh, so before we dive in, I like to share something that's bringing me joy. I have been going on a lot of beautiful morning walks. Oh my gosh, let me tell you, it is really contributing to my soft mornings where I wake up, I do my journaling. Remember, I've been telling you about the Artist Way. If you don't have a copy, I highly recommend it. It's in the Amazon store, and if you don't get it from there, get it from somewhere. It is such a great book to help you just really identify who your creative self is. And there's so many healing questions and tools in there. It's so dope. So anyway, I go on and on about that. I love how, with my slow mornings, I've been able to journal and then getting outside to walk. Oh my gosh, just moving my body, first of all, feels so good. Even when, yes, I would rather stay in the bed just a little bit longer. But going out on the walk, it's like, I'll take this gratitude walk and I'm thinking about the things that I'm grateful for, the neighborhood that I live in, the air that I'm breathing, the tennis shoes on my feet, the people that I see going by, just all the small moments, and just feel my body just overflow with joy. If you haven't gotten out lately, I highly recommend it. Even if it's for 5 minutes and you walk outside, take a deep breath in, look around you, give a little gratitude, and go back inside. And if you can walk for longer, then I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Yes. And yes, because moving our body does feel good, even when we would rather stay in with a nice, cozy blanket. Well, today we are talking about how do we shift from the chaos that happens in the holiday season to creating more joy. So we are going to talk about prioritizing your peace, creating simple, joyful moments, and embracing imperfection and self-compassion. That last one, imperfection, embracing imperfection and self-compassion, I bet that's going to be a real big one that hits home for a lot of people. I want to tell you a little story about when the holidays really changed for me. And I had to intentionally infuse more joy because they weren't so joyful anymore, like all the holidays. And that was when my dad passed away. My dad passed away in 2020, like right after Christmas. It was right after the new year in January. And if you've ever experienced loss before, the first year, like every single holiday, it just feels a little different. And I know everyone's healing is different. So you may not have gone through this, even if you've experienced loss. And I mean, it could be any type of loss. It could be a death, or it could even be the end of a relationship. So, it's like the first holidays, it's like, oh, because that person's not there and you're so used to that. And just that love and that connection in the holidays, especially Christmas, a big deal in our family. It still is. I remember as a kid, November 1st, yes, friends, November 1st. We would kick it off. We put on the Christmas music. We'd have the apple cider. We'd be dancing around the living room, and it was always so much fun. The day after Thanksgiving, we would go and I'd pick out the biggest tree. One year, my dad was like, Jania, do we really need this 12-foot tall tree? Or maybe it was 13. I was like, yes, Dad. And so it was such a joy. And when he passed, I remember feeling like, man, even though I still have my family, right, that I really missed that part. And then I felt kind of sad because it was such a big deal for us. There was always so much love, so much fun. Even to this day, I look at some of our old videos. Well, I should say they're not that old. We didn't really record like back in the day with the VHS, but I have some on my phone. So I'll go watch. My dad would play all the games. Oh, I was watching one. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. It was describing foods, I guess. And so some were cereal, and maybe the whole theme was cereal. And so my dad was reading one. He was like, I don't know what kind of cereal this is. He was like, this bad handwriting. On to the next. But just like even hearing him describe, he was like, okay, think of one and it's fruity. And of course it's not Fruit Loops because that's the word in it. He's like, not orange, but, and it was Apple Jacks. He was always so good. So anyway, I have so many fun memories of that. So something that I have been able to do is embrace the fact that he's gone, and then also think of, how do I still incorporate him in my memories? I mean, he's not going anywhere, where it's more joyful for me. That's the sad part for me during the holidays. And don't get me wrong, the hustle bustle can bring on a little bit of anxiety sometimes too. But I just really wanted to share that. That was on my heart because the holidays are coming, and I've been thinking about my dad a lot. And honestly, it's been from a place of joy, thinking about all the traditions that we've had that I've been able to pass on to my kiddos, the Christmas party we still have, and just how Christmas is such a big deal and everyone feeling special. So let's dive into the first part, is prioritizing your peace. Like I said, there's this still the chaos, right? The chaos of the season. And honestly, sometimes it can drown the inner peace that we have. Overcommitment. I am notorious for planning way too many events. Okay. Unrealistic expectations. There's the external pressure to create the perfect holiday. I know I have that because I always have, always spent so much money, and then it's like, do I want to continue doing all these things? So if I can, first of all, tell you to stop and reflect on, what are some of the areas that may feel a little draining to you? I think you have to identify it first so that when it shows up, you could say, okay, that's one of the things. So you could evaluate, is that something that you want to commit to or not? Boundaries, my friends. I think that's so important. That's something that I had to learn. The holiday, it can be full of demands, right? And remember that your peace matters more than ever. If you're not feeling peaceful, how are you giving that to anyone else? And of course, the holidays, it's a lot of times it's about what we're sharing with our family. Say no when you need to say no, and that's so okay. Practice that art of graciously declining. My daughter and I were talking about this. She told me, Mom, can we not have so many events this year? It's like, what? And she was just explaining to me how she didn't have that capacity. And I appreciated how in advance she shared her boundary with me, and she graciously declined before I even invited her. But it helped me to set the tone of what Christmas could look like. It doesn't mean that we're not going to do anything, because absolutely we are. But I could evaluate to say, you know what? I don't want to cause my family any stress, nor do I want to cause myself stress. So, where can we set those boundaries? Scheduling downtime. Sometimes we need to take a break. Sometimes we need to relax. Carve out some intentional time just for you. Because if not, if you don't carve it out, it's so easy not to take it. And then you can have that feeling of overwhelm. Why? Because you're just go, 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 go. You already still have your job if you're working and all of your normal to-dos. And then when we add Christmas or any type of holiday, right? Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, There are more holidays I don't know all about. So many holidays, right? The more we add on, honestly, sometimes that could be a little stressful. So make time for those quiet moments. I talk about my slow mornings, something I never thought that I could have. I've started incorporating those. Maybe try that out. What does a slow morning look like to you? What does a wind down evening look like to you? Shoot, if you're so busy, what does 10 minutes look like to you to quiet yourself? The other tip I recommend is creating a daily practice of mindfulness and meditation. There are podcasts before where I talk about micro mindfulness, those little micro exercises that you could do that can just to calm and center you. One of them that I talked about before that's really fun, it's using your five senses. So if you start to feel maybe a little overwhelmed, you can stop and say, okay, what do I see? What do I hear? What do I smell? What do I taste? And what can I touch? Just to bring you present and to just calm your nervous system. Think about what are some things that you like to do to relax. And friend, I say do it. Make it a priority so then you could still enjoy this time. You don't want to get to the end of the holiday, look, and you've taken time off and now you need a vacation from your vacation. Okay, has that ever been you? I know that's been me. Let me tell you that research shows that taking 10 to 15 minutes of mindfulness each day can reduce your stress, it can improve your emotional well being, and boost your mental clarity. I think all of that is still so important during this season so you can stay your sharp self, so you can still feel all of that joy, my friend. The holidays are for joy. So please try your very best to not get so caught up to where you can't wait for it to be over. Has that ever happened to you? I know that I've experienced that and I love the holidays. I don't want it to be over, which is why I start November 1st. I go through, I don't know, sometime in January. So all I'm saying is taking that time for you, setting those boundaries so then you can still enjoy all these moments that you're creating or other people are creating. So that's the first one. Prioritize your peace. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about creating simple, joyful moments. I talk a lot about joyful moments. Yes, and yes. And this is the thing, right? During the holidays, there can be a lot of pressure to make things perfect. And I don't know about you, but that can feel exhausting. All the parties that you have going on, all the outfits that you're wearing, the gift buying, just everything, right? We focus on grand gestures. I know I have. And that can leave us feeling disconnected from simple yet meaningful moments. So I'm not saying don't do the grand gestures if you love it, because that can be a lot of fun. Like I love being Santa Claus. And also, I love the little moments that I can create with my family. We play games. Oh my gosh, I game them to death. I have so many games and prizes. Let me tell you, last year they left so much money and so many gift cards on the table because they were tired of playing games. So this year I said, okay, we won't have as many. But that for me are those small moments that I really love, or just sitting down and watching a movie together. So think about maybe some small rituals that you and your family have. What are some of your traditions? It could be as simple as hot cocoa. I told you we love apple cider, and oh my gosh, I made the most delicious cider. Check out my social media. It is packed with sugar. It is so good. So that will definitely be a part of our holiday tradition. And it's so simple and yummy. Listening to music. I told you, as a kid, we'd put it on and we're dancing around. I remember my dad, he would twirl me around. Man, my dad was an amazing dancer. Side note, my parents used to win so many dance competitions. So cool. If you met my dad at first sight, you may not think of him as like this amazing dancer. But then when you watch him dance, and especially when he would dance with my mom, oh my gosh, the dips and the twirls. Let me tell you, as a kid, I used to always love to watch my parents dance in the living room. Again, that is just another simple, small, joyful moment. Think about lighting candles or going out to see lights. Oh my gosh, I love going to look at lights. Again, those small things, starting a new tradition that brings you joy. No obligation, right? Think of the traditions as something fun and light. And you know what? When it's no longer fun and light, maybe talk to your family and you do something different. I've had to learn this, okay? That over the years, it's okay to change traditions if they don't serve me anymore, because then I'm not really looking forward to the holidays and I'm not really being joyful and I'm just filled with chaos. And I don't really want to feel that way. Okay. It could be something as simple as a dance off. Okay. A favorite song that maybe you kick off Christmas, or a movie that now that's the movie every year that everyone watches on day one. It could be a journaling gratitude session or just sharing gratitude with your family. Imagine this: you have your family in a circle, and each person goes around and they say something they're thankful for to the person next to them. I would say everyone, but if you have a large family, that might take all night. But at least the person next to them. That right there could be so beautiful in a new tradition, right? Another thing is plan one day a week to unplug and connect with your loved ones in person, or enjoy solo activities that just really nurture you. Remember, this is all about creating simple, joyful moments during this time because your joy is important. According to Psychology Today, I love this. Creating small traditions and routines is key to increasing feelings of joy and fulfillment. It's these regular, meaningful experiences that strengthen our sense of connection and happiness. So, something that I'm starting this year that I've never done before is a calendar, and I have it up in the living room. And every day I have something joyful on there. So, I have like movies that I'm watching, the days I'm going to bake cookies, or when I'm going to make cider or look at lights. And so when I walk out of my room, it's right there and it's decorated. It's so cute. And so that will be something simple I could do. And it'll be exciting because when I look at it, then I'll know like what I'm going to do for that day. That'll bring me that little extra holiday joy. And you know what? If I change my mind and I don't want to do it, then I won't. We have to learn to have some fun with this. Give ourselves a little bit of grace. All right. So now that we've talked about creating these simple, joyful moments, let's dive into embracing imperfection and self-compassion. Ooh, I don't know about you, but sometimes that can be a little hard. Imperfection, because we're perfectionists around here. Let me tell you, there's a constant comparison to like these holiday images that we see in the movies, right? Or people we may know, or even what we once had. It could be social media, anything. When things don't go as planned, how do you feel? I could tell you I am learning because I am not there yet to go with the flow. I've gotten a lot better. Let me tell you, I had to tell my kiddos, when I start acting like a dragon lady because things aren't going how I want, just yell out unicorn. If you ever watch Kevin Hart, he say pineapples. So I'd be like, just say unicorn. So unicorn means, Mom, bring it down a notch, without them saying, calm down. Because when people tell you to calm down, you don't calm down. It makes you even more upset. So I've heard unicorn enough times to where I'm like, okay, let me calm down, even though it's not going as planned, because I love for the holidays to be perfect. And I don't know about you, but when things don't go as planned, on top of feeling frustrated, sometimes I feel a little sad because I want it to be so perfect. So I've had to work on that so much, because I've had moments, let me tell you, straight up, totally honest, okay? I've had moments where I've been so sad and frustrated that things didn't go exactly how I wanted to, that I just wanted to just crawl in the bed, put the blanket over my head, and not do anything for Christmas. And that's so silly. For me, I'm not saying for you if you felt that way, but I'm like, because this one thing didn't go my way, or maybe it was something large, right? So it's learning to be flexible in this because we have to remember what the holidays are for. So I want you to stop just for a minute before we even dive into embracing imperfection and self compassion. And I want you to think, how do you want to feel in the holiday season? What is important to you in this season? I think that is key because once we can identify that, then that's what can guide us when we're having these moments. We can be really intentional about what we want to create. I don't know about you, but that actually sounds pretty good. And I can say that's really helped me a lot when things don't go how I want them to go. So, a couple of things. We're going to talk about practicing self compassion. Take a deep breath on that one. I want you to remind yourself when you are not giving yourself grace, you are not being compassionate, and you know when that's happening because you're probably not being very kind and it doesn't feel good in your body. Remind yourself that perfection doesn't exist. It does not exist in this human body. And it's okay if everything does not go according to plan. Okay? Let go of the perfect holiday notion and embrace whatever unfolds with love and kindness. That, my friend, takes practice. Yes, and yes, because you don't wake up and you're like, oh, I'll just go with the flow. When things happen that don't feel good, I've talked about this before, box breathing, another episode. Take a minute, do some breathing. Okay. It's 4 seconds and think of a box. So there's an inhale, hold, exhale, hold. Okay. I want you to try that. Maybe do like some wiggles. Something I do when I start feeling that heavy feeling in my body when I'm not giving the self compassion. So I'll start doing like the stanky leg. I know it's so silly. Seriously, though, just doing that makes me kind of laugh at myself. And I think also it's because of moving my body, it helps to break it up. So then I can be like, okay, Jania, let's take a chill pill for a minute. Okay. So just find those little things that can help you with that self compassion. Also, I know this can be so hard. Let go of expectations and lean into the experience of that moment. Remember, I asked you, how do you want to feel? What is all of this for? So when you can just lean into the experience, think about how do I want to feel? What do I want to give to this? And what do I want to get out of this? Allow yourself to just be present and stop, as my mom says, shooting all over yourself. Stop shooting. Because you know what? That honestly doesn't feel good when we say it should be like this, it should be like that. Maybe let's be open to it can be like this. Ooh, look what I can create in this. Ooh, look what I am attracting. Find some of those words that can make it feel a little bit better, that can create a shift in you so you don't feel so stuck. Oh, I can tell you something else that I've done. I use it in the holidays. Well, I use it anytime I start feeling like that heavy feeling in my body. And I hope you know what I mean. Like if you're standing in lines for too long, something is canceled, maybe something went on sale and you missed it, or something is too expensive, or the food you wanted to order is not there, whatever that is. Okay. I know you've experienced that, right? So whatever that shows up in your body. Mine is a heavy feeling in my chest. So identify where it is in your body. So then you can say, "Oh, okay, I know what that is." So you acknowledge it. And maybe find a word that is just calming for you. My word is grace. I actually identified that word when I did a silent retreat at my home for a weekend. I've talked about that on other podcasts. But that was very transformative for me because instead of saying, okay, Jania, calm down. You don't need to do this. You don't need to do that. I could just say, grace, and it would center me. So if you can find you a word that helps you think about something and something that can put a smile on your face. Like I told you, my kids say unicorn and I just kind of giggle. All right. So self compassion, letting go of expectations. And the third tip is celebrate the joy in the imperfections. Whether it's a burnt pie or an unexpected family argument, remember that these moments add authenticity to the holiday season. And then just identify, how do you move with that, even though it is not what you imagined? So, studies show that practicing self compassion reduces feelings of loneliness, increases resilience, and can enhance overall well being. Mm, that's pretty beautiful. That comes from Self Compassion by Kristen Neff. Okay. So, something that I've had to let go of, I'll share personally, is comparing my Christmases that I've created because they've been so grand. And yes, I still want them to be grand. And I also want to save for my old lady years. So even though, yes, I will still create magical experiences for my family, if I see where I maybe don't want to spend as much or I don't want to do certain things, I am learning to give myself grace in that self compassion. That's been very, very challenging because, when you create something and people start to expect it, that's what you want to give them. And if that's you, I want you to check in with yourself. Remember, we were talking about those boundaries and identify what boundaries do you need to set, give yourself that compassion, and share it with your family because it is about family anyway, right? So, just a few closing tips. I want you to think about maybe some affirmations that you could say that can help you to feel really good during this holiday season. Oh, I am worthy of joy. This holiday season can be simple and full of love. What are some of those things that feel good? Remember, I asked you towards the beginning, what truly matters to you during this holiday season? I want you to think about that. What matters and how do you want to feel, and focus on that. And lastly, get creative. Oh my gosh, have fun during this season. Just use your phone, use our journal, document what makes you smile during this season, and do more of it. Okay. So I want to share with you an iPhone tip. I've been playing around more with my iPhone and seeing how can I use it to increase my joy. So something that you can do is to set a reminder. So you can grab your phone and you go to your reminders app. Okay. When you go to your reminders app, tap new reminder. And I want you to put in there, pause and breathe. Just reminding yourself to take those small moments, and you can repeat it. So maybe every day, a couple times a day, or just once, remind yourself. Or if there's an affirmation, say that affirmation. And I want you to use your reminder. Okay, so this is what you're going to do. You're going to go in your search bar, okay? And you're going to type in reminders. You're going to open it. All right. And then we're going to hit new reminder, new reminder. And then we're going to put in pause and breathe. Yes. And then I want you to add it in there. Okay. So just have some fun with that. All right, joy creators. As we wrap up today's episode, I challenge you to choose at least one of the joyful practices that I have shared with you. And I want you to infuse it into your holiday season this week. Now, remember, we talked about 3 things to help support your joy during some of this chaos. We talked about prioritizing your joy, creating simple, joyful moments, and embracing imperfection and self-compassion. Okay. Remember, joy, it's not a destination, it's a journey. I always say that every day may not be filled with joy, but we can create joyful moments every day. So I want you to think about during this season, all the emotions that come up. What is one thing that can bring you a little bit of peace? One thing that can bring you a little bit of joy? Because you know what? You can identify the feelings that don't hide them. Acknowledge them, okay? Like when I told you I was feeling about my dad, I acknowledged my sadness. I acknowledged it and I said I want to create joy and peace. And it doesn't mean that you create it in that situation, just knowing that you have the ability to create it in others around you, in other situations around you. So let's make this season one where there is peace, there is gratitude, and a whole lot of laughter. Yes, if you enjoyed today's episode, I'd love for you to share it with a friend. Tell them, hey, if you need a little bit of a joy booster, if you need some tips to help you get through the holiday season, this is a great episode to check out. I would so appreciate if you subscribe to the podcast. Again, share it with someone, leave a like, leave a comment. Let's spread this joy. All right. Joyful Genia signing out. Have the most magical season. Bye. I'm over here doing a virtual dance because you just finished another episode of the Create a Magical Day podcast. Hit subscribe so you never miss a show and share with a friend who could use a boost of joy. Visit createamagicalday.com for show notes, joy resources, and to join our email list for extra inspiration. If you're looking to connect with more joy creators like you, join my exclusive Joy Creators Facebook group. See you next week. Remember, every day may not be filled with joy, but you can create joyful moments every day. Go out there and make it a magical one.